What if the secret to better digestion, younger skin, and even a calmer mood was sitting right there in your fruit bowl? For years, we've been told to eat more fruit, but no one tells us which fruits can change the game for your gut health. Because when your gut is happy, your entire body reaps the rewards. Because your gut isn't just some tube that food passes through. Research now proves that your gut microbiome is a living, breathing jungle of trillions of microbes that literally run your health show. From how well you digest your food to how you feel when you wake up. So making better choices most of the time will make a huge difference. And even as a nutritionist, I only eat clean maybe 70% of the time. The other 30%, I eat and drink whatever I want. But that freedom comes when your gut is in a good place, so it is more resilient. And that's what my channel is all about. Helping you get better gut health in just a few minutes a day with better choices. And it's based on simplified science, and I try to make it a little bit fun and more practical for a busy person. So hit the notification bell so you can improve your gut health just a little bit every week. For those who don't know me, I'm Leilani. I'm a qualified clinical nutritionist and chef, and I'm obsessed with all things gut health. Today, I'm counting down the top 5 science-backed fruits that act like super fuel for your microbiome. Now, we're not just talking about fiber. We're talking about enzymes that bust bloating, compounds that fight aging, and specific foods that power up the gut species that boost immunity and even weight loss. Plus, stick around because I'll show you the best way to eat each fruit for maximum gut benefits, a cheap and effective way to wash off those microbiome wrecking chemicals, which ones you must buy organic, and a family favorite recipe that combines the top 2 fruits into one delicious, gut-friendly meal prep. All right, let's get started. Number 5, the fuzzy little powerhouse, the kiwi fruit. I'll show you in a second, because this fruit is the Swiss Army knife of gut health. It doesn't just do one thing, it does everything. It has soluble and insoluble fiber. This is the ultimate food combo for feeding your good gut microbes, keeps you regular, which is super necessary for detoxification in this super polluted world that we live in. But its secret weapon is an enzyme called actinidin. Studies show this enzyme helps break down proteins, like the ones you find in meat and dairy and gluten. So which means that your digestion is better, so there'll be less bloating after a meal. And it also keeps you regular. So if constipation is an issue for you, kiwi is your gut's new friend. Go check out my talk on the scoop on your poop, as your poop is a super easy way to get a clear snapshot of what's happening inside the mystery of the gut. Because constipation means those toxins are actually recircling through the body and the brain. It's no bueno. If you have a sensitive stomach or find them a bit sour, try this. This is the golden kiwi fruit. It's beautiful, it's a bit sweeter. They are lower in acid, higher in digestive enzymes, and they're easier on the belly. Now, let me know in the comments who's tried this one before, and if you can get it in your country. So originally they're from New Zealand, but I live in Australia at the moment, and Australia is New Zealand's neighbor. So we're lucky enough to get them reasonably cheap and readily available. Now, eating the kiwi skin is a bit of a hot topic. It does add a ton of goodness, but you have got to wash it right to reduce the chemical exposure. And I'll go into that later on. Now, if you've got IBS or a sensitive gut, I don't recommend eating the skin of the kiwi fruit. It is just way too aggressive to break down. Here's some meal ideas for kiwi. You could chop it up, put it into a tropical fruit salsa, throw it on top of breakfast or in a smoothie, or just cut it up and eat it plain. Okay, let's move on to number 4, the pomegranate. Now, before I lose you, I've got options that don't involve cleaning what looks like a bloodbath from sore. Because if your gut was an ancient castle, pomegranate would be the master key that unlocks its hidden power. Those juicy little pearls are packed with powerful compounds called polyphenols. But here's the magic. Your gut bacteria eat those polyphenols and transform them into a superhero compound called urolithin A. It's a master anti-aging compound. Go and check out my talk on anti-aging nutrients. I'll put the card here. Because I just hit 40 and I am finally thinking about anti-aging. And I think it's never too late. Urolithin A is like a personal trainer for your mitochondria. The little energy powerhouses inside your gut cells. And it makes them stronger, more efficient, and better at repairing the gut lining. And it's like giving your gut wall a renovation. Plus, it specifically feeds a superstar gut bug called Akkermansia, which is linked to a lower metabolism and a more solid gut barrier. So it's a massive win for the gut, the skin, and weight. Now, I told you it was worth watching this section, even though you thought you couldn't be bothered with pomegranate. I know what you're thinking though, because I used to think the same. Who wants to cut it up? Well, if you can't bribe your partner or your kids, here's a couple of options. Take the fruit, score the outside around the middle, pull it apart inside a bowl of water and let the jewels just fall to the bottom. You can also buy the pomegranate seeds picked out and frozen in the freezer section. It's usually a lot cheaper, and there's actually nothing wrong with frozen fruit or vegetables because in some cases they have more nutrients because they're frozen directly after picking. If you're lucky enough, your supermarket might even have the pre-picked pomegranate seeds. And you don't need very much. Honestly, just a light sprinkle on anything from cooked meats, like the Middle Eastern people do it, and don't knock it till you try it, or on top of cereal or a salad. All right, moving on to number 3. This is the tropical sunshine fruit. You want to guess what it is? Pineapple. This isn't just about a pina colada vibe. Who even drinks pina coladas? Let me know in the comments what's your favorite fruit-based cocktail. Because I know alcohol is not good for your gut, but it is a little bit better when it's paired with fruit. So pineapple is famous for one thing. It's an enzyme called bromelain. Think of bromelain as your digestive system's personal bouncer. It helps break down protein molecules in your gut. So it reduces bloating and discomfort after a big meal. But it's also a powerful anti-inflammatory agent. So it helps calm down an irritated gut. So try pairing pineapple with protein. And I know there's a group of people out there that say pineapple is never for savory foods, but just try it and see if your belly feels better after that barbecue. What to look for? You gotta smell the fruit. A ripe pineapple should smell sweet and fruity at the base. It should also have a slight give when you gently squeeze it. So if it's winter and it tastes like cardboard, it's not worth buying. And I'll go into the importance of seasonal in a minute. So how to eat it. Fresh is best to get the full enzyme power. Canned pineapple is often heated, which can destroy the beneficial bromelain. Here's some ideas how to eat it. Add fresh chunks of pineapple to grilled chicken skewers for that digestive aid. Blend it into a smoothie or just chop it up with a fruit salad, and it's really nice as a salsa. Okay, now some of you might be thinking, every time I eat some of these fruits or any healthy food for that matter, I feel bloated, gassy, and just uncomfortable. And if that's you, please know 2 things. 1, you're not alone, and 2, it is not your fault. This happens because your gut might be a little out of balance. It's called dysbiosis. Maybe you have too much of the wrong bacteria because that's what you've been feeding them and they eat what you eat. So there's not enough of the good guys, and then there's some inflammation that's making your digestive system super sensitive. So when you feed this imbalanced bacteria with high fiber foods or high FODMAP foods, they produce a ton of gas, leading to that awful bloating feeling. So if you're stuck between wanting to eat healthy but feeling awful when you do, it's a sign that your gut needs a deeper level of support. Maybe a gut reset protocol or testing or supplements. Now, there's more info in the link below. I have a gut health course that maps out everything for you, so go and check it out. This is all the information I wish I'd had years ago compiled into one practical step-by-step course. All right, let's move on to number 2. This is a fruit we all know and love, the banana. But not just any banana, you need them to be slightly green. You can see the difference here. Why? Because that greenish banana is loaded with something called resistant starch. This is incredible for you because that resistant starch actually resists digestion in the small intestine, travels all the way to the large intestine, and it feeds your good microbes. They ferment it and they create something called butyrate. This is liquid gold for your gut. It's the primary fuel for your cells lining your colon, so it builds a strong, healthy fortress wall in your intestines. Now, I have an ultimate gut healthy pancake recipe using the green bananas. You gotta give it a try. It's a quick blended job. It's gluten-free, dairy-free, and it's paired with a jam that uses the #1 fruit for gut health. I'll put the card up here and you can go and check it out later. Now, what to look for with the bananas? You need to have a definite green tinge at the end. They do ripen up a little bit, and they ripen up really fast, because yesterday I bought this and it was green-ish and now it's like pretty much yellow, and you can see the difference here. That's more what I'm talking about, but it's quite powdery, so something in between that is also really good. And what I recommend is when you buy them green, particularly for the pancake recipe or smoothies, peel it, chop it into thirds and freeze it because it won't ripen. And then you can add that to your morning routine or your recipes, cakes and things like that. Or you can just buy the green banana flour. And I'm interested to know who has used green banana flour and what do you use it in. So yeah, it does have to be green because the riper they get, the more resistant starch turns to sugar. And we all know that sugar isn't doing us any favors. So I've got another talk on hidden sugars in everyday products, so you can go and check that one out too. That green banana flour is actually, my doctor is recommending it to people with IBS issues. So I'm really happy about that. Okay, here we go. The #1 fruit for gut health is the raspberry. Now, these berries are the undisputed fiber kings and queens. They have 8 grams of fiber per cup. They have one of the highest fiber to calorie ratios of any food, period. And fiber is the #1 thing your gut bacteria need to survive and thrive. So my cooking classes on my channel are all about sneaking fiber into your family's meal. And here's the science behind the magic. That fiber is a premier prebiotic, meaning it's the preferred food for your most beneficial gut bacteria. Specifically, the fiber in raspberries ferments slowly in your colon, selectively feeding good bacteria like bifidobacteria, lactobacillus strains. Think of it as putting out a gourmet feast exclusively for your most valuable microbiome citizens. As these good bacteria feast, they don't just multiply, they produce short-chain fatty acids, like butyrate, as a byproduct actually, which is called a postbiotic. So that strengthens your gut barrier, reduces inflammation, and it helps regulate your immune system. So by feeding your bacteria, you're actually manufacturing your own internal medicine. I think that is super cool. But the double whammy comes from the polyphenols, because these antioxidants act like a bouncer at a club. They selectively inhibit growth of the less desirable, also known as pathogenic bacteria, allowing the good guys to thrive even more. Raspberries don't just feed the good, they also help crowd out the bad, creating that incredibly diverse, resilient microbiome, which is the ultimate sign of gut health. For more cost-effective ways, I buy frozen raspberries, organic if I can, because they're highly sprayed, and I throw them into smoothies. Check out my raspberry chia jam. I'll put the gut health pancake card there. Or you can also get the recipe in my Gut Love Club. All right, so now you know what, but if you really want to level up, you need to know how, when, and where to eat these fruits. Seasonal matters. Here's the truth that no one wants to hear. Just eating one gut-healthy fruit on repeat isn't going to cut it. I know it's annoying, but diversity is one of the cornerstones of thriving gut. Your microbiome is like a rainforest, and the more variety it gets, the more species of good bacteria grow and flourish to protect you. So yes, kiwi is amazing, but if that's all you eat, your gut bugs get bored, and so does your immune system. You got to mix it up. Veggies, herbs, nuts, seeds. Try to aim for 30 different plant foods per week. And I know it sounds overwhelming at first, but it is totally doable once you start experimenting, because you'll put things like spices and herbs to the meals. It can really bump up the count. But if you need help to make it practical, I have done the hard work for you, because inside my Gut Love Club, you'll have all the meal plans, shopping lists, and food swap guides designed to make plant diversity pretty much effortless and really delicious. Let's talk seasonal eating and why it's a game changer for gut health. First, when you eat seasonally, you're getting produce that's picked at the peak, meaning more nutrients, more fiber, more flavor, way less chemical interference. These fruits and veg haven't been sitting in cold storage for months or flown halfway across the planet. They're fresh, vibrant, and full of life, which means they're also full of the good stuff your gut microbes thrive on. But here's where it gets really fascinating. Seasonal foods tend to give your body what it naturally needs at different times of the year. So in summer, juicy fruits to hydrate and cool you. In winter, root vegetables to ground you and feed your slow-burning gut bugs. It's like nature's own nutrition plan, designed to work with your internal rhythm. And there's more. Seasonal foods often come with local microbes from your environment, meaning when you eat local strawberries, herbs, or leafy greens, you're introducing friendly bacteria that can help your body adapt to your surroundings. It's like updating your gut software so it's better prepared to handle the allergens, the bugs, and the seasonal shifts. So yes, seasonal eating is a trendy thing, but it's actually ancestral, practical, and deeply microbiome friendly. And to be honest, it just tastes better. All right, let's talk about the elephant in the room, pesticides. Every year, the Environmental Working Group puts out a list called the Dirty Dozen. Now, these are the fruits and vegetables that are tested with the highest level of pesticide residue. And guess what? Berries are constantly at the top of that list. So try your best to buy organic berries. Number 1 on that list is strawberries, and number 2 is raspberries. That's why I buy them frozen, organic. So less critical, the pineapples, the kiwis, the bananas, they have thicker skins that protect their inner fruit. They typically feature on the clean 15 list, so you can save a bit of money here and buy conventional, but really got to wash them right. So this simple wash technique really ensures you're minimizing your exposure to chemicals that could potentially harm your delicate gut bacteria. So how to wash your fruit like a food scientist? Okay, so if organic isn't available or it's just too expensive, you don't just want to run the fruit underwater. I'm going to give you a pro-level washing method that a food scientist taught me. You probably have everything in your kitchen right now. You're going to take a large bowl and mix 1 cup of white vinegar in it with 4 cups of just water. So simple. Submerge your fruit, the berries, apples, grapes, and let them soak for 5 to 10 minutes. You'll actually see the water get a bit cloudy and gunk floating to the top. This is the wax and some of the pesticides coming off. Drain the vinegar water and then give them a good rinse under the cold water. This gets rid of any of that vinegar taste, which you might not want. The next is the most important step if you're not going to eat them right away. You have to dry them thoroughly with a paper towel or a salad spinner. Moisture is the enemy of freshness. So then you'll store them in a clean container lined with fresh paper towel or an absorbent to get any of the leftover moisture. And this will make your berries particularly last a lot longer. This method doesn't make conventional produce 100% pesticide free, but it does drastically reduce the surface residues. So there you have it, 5 delicious, amazing fruit to feed your gut microbiome. Now remember, it's not about perfection. It's about making better choices every single time so that your gut microbiome can flourish. Until the next video, love your guts.